Welcome to the Warhammer Rumble. This week we are going to be discussing the Warhammer 40K Combat Patrol Magazine, Battle Games in the 41st Millennium. This is a 90-issue subscription service from Hatchet Partworks, which is based out of the UK. Now, the UK has several issues ahead of us, but this is just now starting in the United States. This week we'll cover what comes in the Combat Patrol as well as issue number 1. So, this folds out into a poster, but it gives a good overview of the subscription. Whether or not this is a good deal for you depends on you alone. Now, it's a 90-issue run, and you do get some free gifts for being a subscriber. Pair of clippers, mold line remover, neither of which are very good, but you can buy better ones. These are my clippers, and this is a mold line remover from actual Games Workshop. You can buy this at their official Warhammer store or online. You also get some paint brushes. These are pretty good. These are the natural hair ones. You get a starter brush. It's a good starter brush. Small layer brush, a large base brush, and a small dry brush. You're going to get a binder and dividers to hold your magazines, such as issue number 1. As you can see, it's got 2 holes there for putting in a binder. You're going to get a free mini, a mug, and so forth. These are the 9 combat patrols you're getting. We've got Space Marines and Tyranids, Eldari, Astra Militarum, Orc Boys, Chaos Space Marines, World Eaters, Gene Stealer Cults, which I think are these, and the Leagues of Votan, as well as over 30 paints. Now, the first issue number 1 and 2 will run you $7 plus $2.50 shipping and handling per issue, so about $17 total. Every other issue will run you $15 if you get the regular subscription plus $2.50 shipping and handling, and you will receive 4 at a time, or $18 if you get the premium subscription. Now, if you get this premium subscription, you will receive 2 extra models every 15 or so issues. Each of these runs at least $60 a piece, so that's $120 worth of models every 15 issues, or right, basically $45 for $120 worth of model, which actually makes it worth pretty good. However, the first 2 combat patrols, the Space Marines and the Tyranids, are available in the Ultimate Starter Set from Games Workshop. Now, normally, well, the Chaplain on a Bike and this one here are the extra models that come with this magazine subscription that aren't in the combat patrols as you buy them from Games Workshop. The Ultimate Starter Set from Games Workshop is $210, comes with essentially both of these combat patrols minus, of course, the 2 extra models, and gets some terrain, which you don't get in the subscription. So overall, the first 2 two combat patrols, which are the first 20 issues, are not the greatest of deals. You do get some paints within it, but that's what makes it up to you. But if you get the premium subscription, it is most definitely worth the cost, because you were getting an extra $120, $140 or so dollars worth of miniature for $45 extra. Now, this becomes a really nice magazine that I will be hanging up. Now, issue number 1. comes with 2 miniatures. The Space Marine Captain and the Winged Tyrannid Prime, which are on sprues. They each have their own individual bases. You also get 6 dice and a playmat. Now, at the end of this video, I will be putting both of these together to show you what they look like put together. In the magazine, you start off with each section. You've got your build, your read, your collect, and your play sections. So it teaches you how to build the individual models, how to use the mold line remover, your color, your coding, how to put everything together. Really simple model. These are push fit, so you don't need any glue. And they should go together with easy. We'll also talk about welcome to the 41st millennium. The galaxy burns as colossal battleships duel in the heavens above. Armies on countless worlds battle for resources, glory, or simply for survival. Hope, enlightenment, and progress have been scored away by the flames of endless conflict. All that remains is hatred, rage, and war on an unimaginable scale. So we get a bit of history in the 41st millennium. A couple of the armies, factions, the Imperium, Chaos, and Xenos, or aliens. Got some information on the Space Marines. No regular human could hope to stand against the endless horrors that beset mankind. But the Space Marines are no regular humans. These warriors are demigods of war, enhanced by ancient gene alchemy and the Imperium's finest technology to become the greatest army humanity has ever known. So some basic history of the Space Marines. Nice army pictures. These are actual miniatures painted by Games Workshop, and then they make a diorama of it. We also have some information about the Tyrannids, the devouring swarm. The Tyrannids are perhaps the single greatest threat to life in the 41st millennium. They are an endless swarm of biologically adapted killers, connected by a singular intellect known as the hive mind. Every planet they conquer is transformed into a barren husk, its biomass used to make more Tyrannids. So, if you know anything about StarCraft, you've got the humans, and essentially a Zerg Rush. This information or the miniatures, the Unending Swarm, which is the Zerg Rush, and Towering Horrors. We then have some information on the actual models. This is what he's going to look like fully put together and painted. Space Marine captains lead from the front. Each is a veteran of decades or even centuries of battle, having proven their skill in battle time and time again. Clad in nigh impregnable Terminator armor, a Space Marine captain commands his troops with skill, even as he dives into brutal melee with the deadliest of foes. You can give him a name. You can talk about him. Got your data sheet here, which tells you all of his stats, how much what his weapons range is, how much damage they do, how many wounds, crits, all the information. More information on this will be later in the magazine. Tyrannid Prime, Winged Tyrannid Prime. Every Tyrannid attack force is coordinated by synapse creatures, carriers that transmit the horrifying psychic will of the hive mind to lesser organisms. Tyrannid Primes are swift and deadly synapse beasts who swoop across the battlefield, descending to coordinate attacks and to slaughter key prey. Again, you have the data sheet, data card. Now, there are keywords down here, faction keywords. These are all part of the rules, which will be explained as the magazine goes on. Then you have your play section. Welcome to Warhammer 40K. Warhammer 40K is a game of epic battles in the far future fought between armies chosen by you. You've built your models, you've learned a little about the background, and now it's time to see them fight. So, you have your core concepts, which teaches you a little bit about the rules, models and units, dice rolls, movement, wounds, etc. And then you get a mission, which uses the first two and the playmat, which, if you unfold it, you can actually see it matches that. So you can either play with yourself or play against another person. Tells you how to do your dice rolls for the Tyranids and the Space Marine, and then gives you a victory. On the back here, you've got some wound markers, picture of all of the combat patrols again, and a list of all the paint and brushes you're going to get. There's actually more than was listed, because those were the ones that were those are the extra free ones. These are like, you got your starter brush here, a couple of synthetic brushes, and this piece right here is what's known as a basing tool. It allows you to put a very thick paint that actually contains something like a sand or something in it to base. It's a basing material on the base and helps you decorate your bases a lot better. And these are wound markers here. Now, on the back, it shows you what you're getting next week. Next week, we'll talk about these 3 Von Orion's Leapers. They are in issue number 2. Issue number 3, which we should be receiving soon, we get 5 Infernus Marines and some Battlefield Essentials cards. Now, let me put together the models, and I'll show you what they look like. All right, I have gotten them both together. I have found that a pair of glasses, magnifying glasses, help pretty good. Now this is what the Tyranid Prime, Winged Tyranid Prime looks like. Pretty easy to go together. Nice and push fit. And this is the Space Marine Captain. As you can see, he's got a molded base that actually just pushes into the main base. And also push fit. Now the nice thing about push fit is they're easy to take apart to paint, like the insides of his cloak here, inside of his back, behind his head, back that area once you get to painting. Now when you go to glue models, it's a different story. Now what the mold line remover is for is, you will find that when you go to take a miniature part off the sprue, that you don't always take it cleanly off. You can actually see the spot right there that I need to fix on the Tyranid. You get those little burrs of plastic. And what the mold line removal tool allows you to do is remove those little burrs and flatten out the area. It's a piece of metal. It's not even sharp. It's just pointy. Not even real pointy. It's got a nice little curved section for curved areas, flat. Very, very easy to use. Now I'm going to be following the painting guide for this miniature as the magazine comes, but you can paint them however you want. I'll give you an example. Warhammer has another line called Age of Sigmar. Now, if you go to your local Warhammer store, you can paint a free miniature, either a Space Marine or a Stormcast Liberator. Now, this is the old free mini version, and as you can see, he is painted in the official colors of the Stormcast Hammers of Sigmar under Games Workshop. This is another version of that model. This is from the starter kit. Getting starter kit, little $50 kit you can get that comes with 2 miniatures and teaches you a little bit of how to play the game. Also painted in the official Sigmar colors. And this is one I made with my own painting scheme. So, same model, 2 different colors. And if you look at the official magazine, official poster, I mean, it talks about the Silver Templars. That is an official Space Marine chapter. So you can paint them as an entirely different Space Marine chapter than the Ultramarines, which is this color here, and the colors we are going to be using primarily. So, you are not required to paint your miniatures in the colors that the magazine tells you. But I am going to make some minor differences. For example, the base color, according to the directions of Tyranids, is Wraithbone. It's an off-white. And they are going to send us bottles, paint bottles of Wraithbone. Now, I happen to have those paints already, but I am going to show you the paint bottle with the color when it comes. In fact, we're going to get 3. Our first 3 paints are going to be Macragge Blue, Wraithbone, and Corn Red. And there's a reason for those. Primary color of Space Marines is Macragge Blue. Now they'll want us to base the model in its base color using those paints. However, there is a better method. Citadel actually makes a spray in the appropriate colors. This is the Wraithbone. And what it will allow you to do is actually get a nice even coat and prime the model better than using the base coat that they want us to, base paint that they want us to. So you'll have a primed miniature in the appropriate color using a spray. They also make a Macragge Blue spray for the Space Marines. They also make a Corn Red and a bunch of other colors. Lead Belcher. This one was actually spray primed in what's called Retributor Armor. That is another color we're going to get. So, again, Combat Patrol Magazine. It's Value is dependent on you. The first two, maybe not so much, but the other ones are significantly more value. For example, the Astra Militarum, or the Imperial Guard Combat Patrol that you're getting here, is no longer in print. They have updated the Combat Patrol box for the Imperial Guard. They've done the same for the Eldari recently. So this one is no longer in print as well. I believe the Gene Stealer cults and maybe the World Eaters is also no longer in print. So this magazine is the only way you're going to be able to get some of these miniatures models. And as you can see from our paints, there's McCragg Blue. There is Mephiston Red, not Corn Red. We're getting Mephiston Red first. And there's Wraithbone, our first three paints. And we're going to get the starter brush in, I think, issue 4 or 5. So next week we are going to be talking about Von Ryan's Leapers, and I will be putting them together. Thank you for coming. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all next week.